refresh your memory on some of our techniques or some of the steps, then that will be available to you on the IT website. You can also see those links by looking at the training page or the training email that comes out from HR. We're going to provide that link for you so you can look at old recordings in case you want to refresh something. Okay, so as we get started, I'm going to share my screen, and the way this works, I have to jump between different sessions. So if you'll just bear with me, I'm going to go ahead and go into Microsoft Excel. So when we do our mill merge, we have to have a data source. And what I'm looking at here is my data source. This is a list of attendees for a meeting that we're going to have. And you'll see across the top, I've got each of the columns labeled with first names, last name, titles, company names, the city in which they work, and then their email address. And if we go all the way to the end, if I jump all the way down, you'll see I have 506, or actually 505 attendees. There is no way that I am going to hand type all this to make name tags. So what's a much faster way to do this? We're going to create a mail merge for my name tags so I don't have to type these up. So I just want to show you this. This is my Excel spreadsheet. It really doesn't matter what format it's in, other than you want to make sure that each of your columns has a title. Now, previous versions of Word, when you do a mail merge, you couldn't have spaces in the titles. That's gone away. This is an old one, of course, and so it doesn't have any spaces. But if you have spaces in your titles, you're going to be okay. So I'm going to close this down. And here I go again. I've got to share with you, so just bear with me a moment. We're going to go into Microsoft Word now. And what you're seeing here is my finished product. Okay, so these are my name tags, but I am going to start from the beginning so you can see what we do. So in this case, I'm going to open a new Microsoft Word document. It's going to be blank. Now I'm going to do some name tags. So in order to do that, I'm going to go up to the ribbon and I'm going to click on Mailings. This is where we find our mail merge. If you see over here towards the left, there's a button called Start Mail Merge. In prior versions of Office, this used to be a wizard, but they've kind of done away with the wizard, and so now we've got them along the top. So first thing I do is start a mail merge. It gives me options. I can create a letter, and I know my cursor's covering that, I'm sorry. I can create a letter. I can create email messages, envelopes, labels, a directory. I'm going to do labels. So any of those labels that you get, whether it's shipping labels, or we're going to do name tags or name tents, this is where we're going to go to set it up. Okay, so typically we use... Okay, sorry about that. I've got somebody else in the room and they had their sound on, so you heard me twice. Sorry about that. All right, so here we go. We're going to pick our labels. And I don't see my name tags, of course. So we're going to use this one, the 8163. Anytime you get labels from Avery, you know it has a little number on it that you match up here. So 8163. When I hit OK, you're going to see my page change, and there's my template. So what I would do then is just enter all the information, and I could just hit print. But I have 505 name tags to make, and assuming these are stickers, you know, they'll peel them off and stick them on their shirt. I don't want to type all those. So here's what I can do. When I come up here, I've already started my mail merge and I've given it this template. I'm now going to select my recipients. What this allows me to do when I click on it is say use an existing list. Now I could type it from scratch, but I've already got it in an Excel spreadsheet. So what I'm going to do is click on use an existing list and then go find that Excel spreadsheet. So as this pulls up, as any browser would, I'm going to go find where I've hidden my Excel spreadsheet, and there it is, buried down there in my training folder just for you. When I click on it, it's going to pull this up. And you know how in an Excel spreadsheet you have different tabs at the bottom? Well, this allows me to select the tab that I'm going to be using, and there's only one tab in this one, so there you go. That little check mark down there at the bottom, the first row of data contains column headers. Now maybe it doesn't. Maybe you didn't put column headers in, but later that could be problematic. So it is in your best interest to go ahead and make sure there's a header on there. Okay, when I hit click, okay, it doesn't like it. Okay, let's try this again. And I know why it did that. It did it because I was already using it in another one. So I close it out. Now I'm going to go use another one. My apologies. Live training is fun. Okay, we're going to try this again. Same repeat, click on the table, there we go. Okay, so what it has done, it is attached it to my data source, that Excel spreadsheet. And what I'm seeing here in this template is what I need to set up. In this case, I'm going to create all the information in the first sticker, that first cell. And then you'll see the next ones where it says next record. That's telling Microsoft Word to skip to the next line in my Excel spreadsheet. So I need to start populating it. If this is going to be a name tag, what do I need to do? Well, I'm going to first put in their first name. That goes on the first line. It's going to be real big. And then below that, I'm going to use their first name and then space last name. Now I'm going kind of quickly here, but I'm sure that you caught on. And that is, this is a merge field. It is a cell off of that Excel spreadsheet I was using. In order to insert that, I come up here to the button that says Insert Merge Field, and I select from my options. Those are my headers in my Excel spreadsheet. So if you don't use headers, you're going blind here. It'll say column A, column B, column C. So you really want to make sure that you put headers up there so you know what you're selecting. So in this case, as I select whatever field that I want to put in here, I want to make sure that I use appropriate punctuation. So between the first and the last name, you'll see I've highlighted there, I've put a space because you definitely want a space between those two things. Now you may have it opposite. You may want last name, comma, first name. That's fine. You want to make sure you put the comma there, and then you'd put a space after the comma if that's what you'd like. Next, what I want to do is put the person's job title, and we're going to get fancy. We're going to put their company name, and we may even put the city they're from. So when I do that, that's what it's going to look like. Now, I don't like the way it reads. What I'm going to do is format it. So everything goes to the middle of the cell. And gosh, it sure is at the top. I don't like that either. So what I'm going to do is put a space. Now, what I've noticed on these labels is that you can't just hit enter. It moves the whole template down. So first I hit a space and then hit enter, and now it puts a whole row above that. So my first name, as typically done with name tags, I want it to be bigger. So I'm going to come over here and increase the font. And now that first name on the name tag gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And notice if I get bigger, eventually, maybe that's too big because my city and everything starts to disappear. But there's some extra space between those. And you can imagine this can go on forever. As I sit here and play with it and get it to look the way I want, and then I want to put a picture in it, I can do that. So, put a picture in it. If we want the TCU logo, I'd go up to Insert and insert a picture. And unfortunately, I don't know where it is, so we'll just pretend that's it. And then, of course, what I want to do, I want to move it around. In this case, I want it to, I'm just going to have fun with it. That's what my label will look like. But what does it look like with an actual name? You can see what it'll look like by coming up here to mailing, back on this where all my mail merge information is located, and this button called preview results will actually put your data into the template so you can see it. So when I click this, there's my first person. Now you see that my logo covers up the company name, so I maybe want to play around with the logo and move it, but that's what it will look like. And so that's going to be a sticker they can peel off and put on their shirt. I may like that, I may not. I want to make changes to it, make the first name bigger, maybe go ahead and take out the title or the city and just play around with it. I may want to make a color behind it. I can do multiple things as long as I stay within my little box. Are you still connected, Carlene? Okay, so one of our computers lost connectivity. I want to make sure that everybody else is connected. Okay, so as we're looking at this, I'm going to go back to just looking at the plain template. So I'm going to unclick that preview results. So there's my information. You'll notice here in the second column, it says next record. In order to duplicate, what I need to do is copy the information and come over here. And there it's going to duplicate. So now when I say preview, there's the second one. So that's all I'm going to do. In each of these, I'm just going to copy and paste. And so I'm just hitting Control V, Control C to copy, Control V as in Victor to paste it. That's all I'm going to do. And then I can go back and do that logo too. So if I want to copy it, and I can move it around however I want to see it. And you may want to play with it too, put it in multiple locations, then preview the results to see what it looks like. Now this is a preview. It's going to show me multiple people. Right now, that data that I was using is alphabetized by last name. So as I look and see it's all alphabetized, and those are all my A's. But I could go back and see someone and say the B's, C's, or D's. And then what you do is you come up here to the top where we preview our results. It shows I'm looking at record number 1, the first person on my list. Well, I had 505 records. So maybe I want to go to number 200. And when I enter 200 in that little box, it's going to jump down the alphabet. Now I'm looking in the middle of the alphabet, the H's. So it gives me some idea of how things will look. So it looks pretty good to me. Let me show you some other things we can do with our data. Up here at the top on your ribbon, it says Edit Recipient List. This is going to pull up a dialog box with the information that's in my Excel spreadsheet. See, it's highlighted on whose name I'm on right now. It allows me to pick and choose the people I would like included. So maybe I don't want all 500. Maybe I only want a handful. So those that are check marked are going to be included. Up here in the headers, I could uncheck mark everyone, or I could check mark everyone. So it's real handy to say, well, I know Carlene is a member of our board, and so she's going to have a different name tag. So I'll go find her name and uncheck mark it so she doesn't get one of these generic name tags. Or maybe it's the other way around. A few select people would get these special name tags I'm creating. So I can pick and choose those that will be included. Likewise, I can always change the order in which they print. Right now, they're alphabetized by last name. Maybe I would like them alphabetized by company name. So if I click on company name, I can sort them. And now all my information, when I click OK, it's going to change. So now, number 200, City of Irving, City of Jacksboro, City of Midlothian. So they are alphabetized that way. And if I go all the way back to the front of my list, now these are people that don't have company names listed. So you can always modify your recipients in that way, and it's very, very helpful. If we're talking about 500 people from name tags, I want them to print in the correct order so that if I lay them out, they're already alphabetized or they're already by company name. So that's very important to note. Do it before you print them. Okay, so we have all that information. We've got a pretty good template. We're going to go ahead and pretend that our logos are actually TCU logos and they're in every field. So now what do? You have a couple of options. First thing you want to do is save your template. If you have a regular meeting or you do this on a regular occasion, you don't